We're here with Jim Heavey. Jim has been hanging out with the Woodworking shows for a really long time.
Since the earth cooled, I've been told.
Yeah, okay. Well, Jim, we're just kind of hanging out and having some chance to interview people and kind of learn about what the various seminar speakers are doing at the shows. And I wanted to hear just a little bit about what you're offering at this year's Woodworking shows.
Well, as you know, I change every year. I try and vary my presentations because I think I'd bore myself, and I'm afraid I'd bore other people if I didn't. So what I did this year is come up with 3 tools that people generally use, and then try and find some jigs or tips and techniques that make what they normally do maybe a little bit more consistent, maybe a little bit more accurate. So I started with a table saw, and we show people how to set it up and kind of tune it up and those kind of things, and talk about alignment issues, the normal thing that people do. And then I've got quite a few jigs that go with that, so either on the table themselves or separate jigs to allow for sheet goods cutting or small parts cutting. And then I kind of get to my favorite jig, was a taper jig, where I can show people how to do multiple tapers on that jig. And all things we've had in the magazine over the past, and all the things that we're doing for them are all free to them. They don't have to pay for these things, so it's something I hope that they can learn from. Then the second one we do during the day is the router presentation. And on routers, I start out with router bits, talk a little bit about router bits and what I feel are some pretty good profiles, and if they've got them, they work pretty well. And then we've got a couple of jigs for both the router table and then for handheld routers. And what I kind of hope to do in there is the one that most people wind up using quite a bit is doing mortising. They normally do their mortising on the drill press right now, and I'm showing them how for $1 they can make one of our jigs and do mortising with a hand router. A lot easier, a lot quicker, and to be honest, probably a lot more efficient. And then the last one of the day is probably my favorite one. We do miter saw. Nobody ever talks about miter saw, but talk about how to set it up and how to use it, some of the mechanical parts to using it, and then how to fix bad miters if you've made them. How to make good ones start with, and then bad ones. But the last part of it is probably my favorite, where I teach crown molding. I haven't done it in 6 or 8 years, and I developed a little method for cutting the templates, which only takes a couple minutes. And once they've got the templates, it allows them to cut crown molding flat, which makes much easier to me than upside down and backwards. And it's a very visual thing. I'm exceptionally tactile, so having these makes a big difference. And then just watching the expression of people who have never tried crown molding or tried it and just never did well, walking away thinking, I can do this. So that's the fun part. And of course, as you know, the shows are just a ball. And when you do it, I know that you get the same feeling I do. You're appealing to a whole bunch of fellow people who have the same terminal illness that we do. They love woodworking, and they're trying to find a way to get better at it. And I think that's the fun part.
And this is a great way to get this practical information. I mean, this lineup that you have, I mean, you've got the table saw, the router, and the miter saw. That's a practical, take home for just coming to the show. You can sit on these sessions and really feel empowered with lots of little tips, little tricks, little how-tos from all the experiences you've had, and I'm sure you've gleaned from other professionals as well.
Absolutely, and what's nice too, and we never try and do that up front, but we try and find a way to complement what other people are doing.
Sure.
So, you hate to have a presentation that is mimicked by 8 different presentation areas. But the show is so diverse, and it's become even more diverse, that if you want to learn turning, if you want to learn furniture making, if you want to learn how to fix up a plane, if you want to something is here for everybody. And my hope is when people come to the show, they see that they can't see all the education in a 3-day period.
There's no way they can do it.
And the 2 complaints we always get is, first, I couldn't see all of the stuff in 3 days. And the second one, which I enjoy, is there's never enough chairs. But the point is, they can come here and, for the price of a movie ticket, they get 3 full days of more education than I would have ever had when I was learning this stuff. And you're getting it from people who are teaching the same way I am. We're teaching from successes that were mainly preceded by a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're doing the same things they are. I get people that say all the time, you were in my shop. And I said, no, you were in my shop, because we're all the same. And I think once they feel that commonality with us all, they come out of here really excited.
I was going to ask one of those questions in my seminar. What are some of the roadblocks people have in their own woodworking experience? And lo and behold, everyone has that same struggle.
Yes.
We're all isolated in our own shops, but we're all in a common boat.
Yep. And is there more fun than teaching something and looking out from the other side and seeing these faces that are, you got to be kidding me. That's all there is to this, because there's no rocket science in woodworking. It's exposure, and the other thing I think, lastly, is that the thing that separates us from some of the people in the audience is we've just done it more often. We're not any better at it than they are. But we're just willing to admit that we've made those mistakes, and we're willing to move on. And I think what constrains most woodworkers is that they just don't want to make a mistake. And the goal here is to show them that I make a ton of them. I just don't bring them to the show. Right. So when we show them how to do what we're doing and explain to them that all of this is by time on task, I think it helps. I really do.
Well, Jim, you always draw a big crowd. I mean, you are a great storyteller and you're a dynamic presenter. Super excited to have you part of the show as long as you have been. And every year you bring something fresh, and it's really exciting to see that. And I can tell that you love woodworkers, you love talking to people, and that is a give and take, because you learn, you get to meet other people. And we just met with a bunch of young woodworkers. I mean, what a great story. These guys are just tremendous young woodworkers. Haven't even gotten out of high school yet, and they are just talented. And it's great to see that kind of re-interest in our craft. Thanks to guys like you who are giving your passion and your communication. So thanks for being here, Jim. We really appreciate it. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Jim Heavey, make sure you come see him at the Woodworking Shows. You can check out the schedule at thewoodworkingshows.com.
Stay safe, everybody.